Hey guys, this is Odd1 Gaming. This is going to be another King Arthur Legends Rise video. In today's video, I'm gonna show you the most free-to-play friendly team possible in order to beat Crom Cruach, right, from the Seal Temple, the Master of the Apocalypse, stage 10, right? I'm gonna show you a team that only uses 3 legendaries and I'm only using 1 legendary and 3 rares, right? So honestly, cannot get any easier than this. I'm not using Guinevere, I'm not using Bedivere, and the legendary that I'm using is gonna be Morgan, right? So definitely it's it's gonna blow your mind a little bit. It blew my mind when I saw that I actually managed to do it. Before I jump in the video, I do want to mention that as part of the content creator program, the support will kind of like reset. Netmarble resetting it on the 15th. So if you are currently supporting me, make sure to go to the same page. It's gonna be, the link is in the description, pin comment. Click on that one, scroll, and you're gonna see it says extend support. Or if you're not supporting me yet, please consider doing the same. Go there, click support, and it's gonna help me a ton. It costs you guys absolutely nothing. Now, let me show you the team that I'm using to be this one. And the team is, as you can see, Morgan, Cormac, Sarah, and Bodwin. Now, this team is not perfect. It's not extremely easy to do. It requires some specific chivalries. It requires some, maybe some specific builds, but also requires a little bit of RNG. Now, the RNG that I'm talking about is the fact that you want to have at least Cormac or whoever's going to be your best DPS, right? It doesn't have to be necessarily Cormac. Whoever's your best DPS on your account, again, you might still have Bedivere, you can use him in here, but you don't have Guinevere, for example, which is kind of, she's the best one. As long as you have Bodwin with the passive skilled up with this one and with Chivalry 3, you're good to go. The reason I'm saying that is this passive, if it's booked up, it gives 2 allies shield, like it says 2 random allies shield, also grants them abnormal status immunity at the same time, right? This one happens for 2 people. The abnormal status immunity happens only when he has Chivalry 3. So pretty much like I mentioned, you have to go in with some RNG, hope that Cormac is the one that doesn't get eaten. There we go, he has it. And now from here, you should be good to go, right? You should be good to go. You just keep going ahead and doing, just slowly killing it. Now, is it a fast team? It certainly isn't. However, it seems to me like as long as, from what I ran it a couple of times, as long as you get to the point where, like I mentioned, initially, Cormac is the one that's free, obviously your main DPS, you should be good to go. Now, I even did a mistake over here. 1 second, let me back out because I didn't bring my Vigor Morgan. I have 2 builds for her, right? I have one for Arena, because Arena is a bit difficult, and then I have one Vigor, which is more useful for the sake of PvE in general, right? For all PvE areas, you kind of want Morgan to have that Vigor so that she can keep doing that second skill, right? The one that pushes back attack gauge. Obviously, if you can control the attack gauge in that fight, you want to do that. And as long as she keeps doing that, if she has Vigor, she's just going to keep doing that and you should be just fine to always spam the skills that you want. Now, for this fight specifically, for Crom Cruach, it does work where because you can control his attack gauge, right? He is not immune to it, so because he's not immune to it, you can just control it. You saw that was a bit tricky. We even had some bad RNG where we had fear on us and then Bodwin did not cleanse it. That's another good reason why Bodwin is good in this team, because he can also remove the abnormal status effects, right? He can do that as part of his other passive. You saw we had bad RNG, it didn't really work, but now we should still slowly be doing this to kill the boss. Like I said, it's pretty slow. Now, the things that are kind of like mandatory in this team, I guess I'm gonna go over chivalries just so you have an idea, so you know what you should be aiming for. So the only thing that's mandatory are 2 people. Bodwin to be, like I said, C3, so he gains that extra bonus of his passive to be able to put abnormal status immunity on 2 people, which hopefully, or like I said, you always want to try that one of the ones to be Cormac. And then the other one that's kind of really required, I would say this one's mandatory as well because it takes, otherwise it takes a lot longer. The other one's going to be to have a C3 Morgan, right? And that's something that just by playing the game and doing events and stuff, in about a month and a half, you should be able to get that, right? Just for free. And Morgan should be your #1 priority anyway for legendaries to get Chivalry. So that's the only two things that you need. After that, you can use Sarah as a healer. You can use, it might even work with Toren, or, you know, whoever is your best healer and whoever's your best damage dealer in this slot, that's what you're gonna use. The two really important requirements are, again, Bodwin, obviously, again, if you don't have Guinevere. If you have Guinevere, put her in, she's gonna be 10 times better. But if you don't have Guinevere and you want a more relatable one, Bodwin is mandatory, and then also, what's her name again? Morgan is mandatory, or is like, you know, it's extremely helpful. It might work even without Morgan, but you know what? Everybody gets Morgan. Everybody should have Morgan. Everybody should invest in her and build her properly. So because that's the case, then, you know, I see no reason why not to show her, right? She's just amazing. She's definitely one of the best one. Now, I'm not going to keep you through all of the fight because it takes about 4 to 5 minutes. We're just going to come back at the end. I'm going to show you the damage that the people did, and I'm going to show you the builds as well. So see you in a bit. Okay, and we're back. Look at this, like I mentioned, 5 minutes and 33 seconds. We did it. It doesn't matter how long it is. It's reliable, it works, and you're gonna see some funny builds. At least for one of the people, you're gonna, you know, you might find that really funny. So if you look at the battle stats, obviously most of the damage was done by Cormac. Then the second best was obviously Morgan, and then a little bit between Bodwin and Sarah. Now let me just quickly jump back in to this fight so I can show you the skill order of that people are using in this fight, just so you know what you should be setting yourself. Because again, if it worked for me, it should work for you. So Bodwin, nothing, he can do whatever. Sarah, again, nothing, she can do whatever. Cormac, you want to obviously prioritize the third skill and then the fourth skill, because he's the main DPS, and this is the one that smacks hard with his Frost Relic. And then when it comes to Morgan, honestly, you don't even need to put this one, you just want her to do the second skill. Because she has Vigor, she's always gonna have enough Vigor when she gets a turn to keep doing that second skill, which does a lot of cool stuff, you know, pushes back attack gauge, removes buffs from the passive, and all of that cool stuff, even though the boss almost never puts buffs. Now, let's check the builds, okay? So, first one, Morgan, like I said, you only need like C3. You really want to try if you can get this one to be skilled up, so you do more damage. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot slower. So the second and the third passes are the one that you're kind of aiming for to have skilled up for Morgan. Again, I don't think they're mandatory, but they help. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot slower. The Relic, I'm using her base Relic. I do have some skill ups, but again, you don't really need those skill ups. They're not mandatory. It works without them. Then Equipment, the only thing that you need, like I said, is Vigor. And then, or like you would prefer, it's going to work without it, but it might be trickier. With Vigor, it's better. You want to get around, like you see, 62 to 70% effect accuracy, and then as much attack speed as you can get her in that build. Then next one. So the next one's going to be Cormac, which was my choice, my DPS choice. He's running critical attack and strive for keepsake. For her, you don't really care whichever keepsake. You just want effect accuracy you would prefer over here, attack speed over here, effect accuracy here, then attack speed over here. That's kind of like, you know, prioritize the stats that give you the right things. Now for Cormac, I have Pierce on the banner, I have hit accuracy on the orb, and then I have defense. You know, this is the best I had. It's either flat defense or flat attack. I went with defense because I don't have flat attack. You're aiming for good substats. Attack percent over here, critical rate on this one, and then more attack percent over here. His total stats, you're going to see he's pretty slow. Almost 3k attack, 2.6k defense, 74% crit rate, 44% crit damage. And then if we also look at his hit accuracy, he has, how much is it? Let's see. 31.8, right? I think around 20% it works just fine. So, you know, the more you can get him, obviously, the better. When it comes to Relic, I have his Frost one. I do have some skill ups. I almost have this one max, but I never use it. Just use the third skill and the first skill. This one's a monster. Like, look at how much damage this one can do. It's just amazing. It is just amazing. So, yeah, skill ups, again, not mandatory, but it helps because you're going to do a bit more damage. And that's pretty much him. Obviously, as a rare, he has all the passives skilled up. And he is a Chivalry 7 for me, but you don't really need that, right? Your DPS is going to be whoever's your best one. However high Chivalry you have, just go for that. Then we have Sarah in here. Again, both passive skilled up. You kind of like this one. If you can have this passive skilled up, this is going to help, with, especially with the attack gauge disruption, which is something that you get when you give her Chivalry 3. Again, it's not mandatory, but it helps because when you get towards the end phase of the boss fight, you see that he charges up and pretty much pushes his attack gauge to the max. But if you land this with Sarah, you know, that's gonna save you from taking those massive hits, so it can be really helpful. So again, she's Chivalry 3, then the relics using the Storm 1, level 60, just a couple of skill ups, again, non-mandatory, some awakenings. Then if you look at the equipment, she's running again Vigor plus Accuracy. Vigor is amazing for her because again, if she doesn't use the big skill, she generates Vigor for the other ones. But if she does have to use the second or the third skill, you want that Vigor to be able to heal up enough. And then obviously I gave her some one accuracy set as well because I'm trying to also have some effect accuracy to land her attack gauge disruption from that, you know, for the first skill. It's not the highest, I mean, it's pretty okay. 63% effect accuracy, 193 attack speed, and 28,000 HP. You don't necessarily need this high attack speed. Like, I think you could go around with 140, 150, 160, and then effect accuracy again around 60 to 70% is fine. And then if she's just mostly in there for her healing, give her as much HP as you can. Also have effect accuracy on this one, attack speed on the orb, attack speed over here, HP percent over here, and then more HP percent. I don't have any recovery. I can help to have one main stab with recovery, but I just didn't do it and it still works just fine. And now the last one is gonna be again Baldwin, which I said really important to have this one. This is mandatory. You need to have this one skilled up because otherwise it's only one target. Having skilled up, it targets 2 people. And you mandatory need Chivalry 3 so he lands the abnormal status immunity, because I guess I forgot to mention at the beginning, if you have abnormal status immunity, the boss does not devour the people that have that. So that's why you need this one mandatory. And then the relic is just his base relic. I barely have any levels up. I haven't used him in I think a month. And this is how he's built. Like I said, it's just 3-star gear, right? 3-star, 3-star. It's just random life or random vigor. Whatever I had lying around 3 months ago, it's like there's nothing that you care about him. Just a little bit to keep him alive. If you wanted to, like, you know, be extra helpful, you can try and give him like 60% effect accuracy and then make him survivable. Like, you know, the more HP he has, the more HP he's gonna give through the shields. But it does help if you have some effect accuracy, if you see that you're taking big hits, because if we look at his second skill, this one has a chance to land the decrease, right? So if you have effect accuracy and you're going to use the frost one, which I recommend using, he has a chance to land attack decrease, which means you're not going to be hit as hard. So builds for him, I would still suggest Vigor if you let him full YOLO to do the third skill. And also second one, I suggest Vigor, try to give him some effect accuracy and then go from there. Like you can see, I have recovery, helps him with nothing. It just whatever random gear I have on him and it still works. But yeah, what do you guys think about this team? Let me know in the comments down below. I know I was super excited when I saw that this is the most free-to-play I could come up with right now, right? I just pretty much, I removed my Bedivere, brought in Cormac. I removed my Guinevere, brought in Baldwin. And then I removed my Gillian and brought in Sarah. And it still worked. So I was excited to be able to do this and share it with you because hopefully this is going to help more of you to push higher stages of Crom Cruach, as you're going to want to farm as many of these tomes as possible to level up your relics, as we have a ton of relics to do that for. But yeah, I guess that pretty much covers it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please consider liking it, subscribing to the channel to see when I upload next. Don't forget about the link in the description or pinned comment of the video where you can support me as a content creator. Costs you nothing, helps me a ton. And yeah, well, I guess I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.
Fight with honor. Vanquish the wicked. And you may prove worthy of your legacy.